Hello, this is Johnny Henson, Professor Poole with Billiard University out of Goodyear, Arizona. Today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about becoming one of my students via the internet or Zoom in particular. I've been approached by students literally all over the world, not only in the United States, but Canada, England, Europe, and other places. And they said, Johnny, I would like for you to be my pool instructor. I'd like for you to help me with my game. Well, via the internet, we can do that. As you watch this video, it will show you some simple things that you can get ready and some simple ways that you can set up either your practice table or the table that you have in your own home to prepare for our lesson. A lot of this stuff I would like to have done ahead of time so that we're not wasting the lesson, working on things that we can get done ahead of time. But I look forward to each one of you becoming one of my students via the internet. And please, like and subscribe my videos and keep me motivated. Before our Zoom lesson, I'm going to actually have you set up your table that you're going to be having your lesson on ahead of time. This is going to give you a brief overview of it, and we'll probably go into a little bit more detail in the video that follows. To start with, this is two different straight line drills. You only need one on your table. We're going to start with a dot that's about half a diamond, and then we're going to basically have a dot up at the other end of the table, which would be our target, at maybe a diamond and a quarter to a diamond and a half, depending on the size of your table. And you're going to be putting a dot adjacent to each diamond going down the table. And so that's going to give you a perfect straight line, and you're going to be putting this straight line on via a laser. So it's going to be a perfect straight line. Okay, this is the same line as that over there, only this one has balls on it. Here's your ball thing on your rail. Here's just a diamond to help you line up your cue. Here's where your cue ball goes. This is your cue stick target, if you want to call it that. And then there's a diamond, there's a ball, there's a dot on each one of these diamonds, and then there's also your target. And just to show you, there's a dot, and that way you're able to set up the balls exactly on the line. So that means when you're practicing in our lesson, that you're going to know if you're truly hitting your cue ball on that line, or if you're making good contact with your object ball on that line. This other setup is basically you're going to have your cue ball about roughly about 1.5 feet, 18 inches away from your object ball, which is going to have a dot for it to rest to. And that's for a small table. If you have a 4x8 or let's say a 4.5x9, you can probably go 2 feet away from the rail, or 24 inches with your cue ball. And this is going to be where we're going to be testing your stroke. So this is more of a stroke test setup, and the straight line drill is going to be things that we work on via the class. The reason I want you to set this up is because I want this set up ahead of time, because I don't want to be spending time in our Zoom lesson trying to set up stuff, because that's gonna not be of value to you, because we're going to be spending time doing that. So hopefully, if you have any questions, I'm going to be sending you out an email before our Zoom lesson that will probably clarify a few of these things. And if you have any questions above that, you can pop me an email at billuniversityaz@gmail.com. Okay? Yeah, this is Johnny Henson, Professor Poole. This is an introduction to my Zoom private lessons. I'm going to be teaching lessons to literally players all over the world, not just in the United States, but Canada, England, or other places. And so what I would like to do is kind of briefly show you the things you're going to need to do ahead of time to kind of set up for the lesson I'm going to give you. These are things that are normally already set up in my studio, but if we're doing a private Zoom lesson, then there's going to be certain things that you're going to need to set up either on your home table, if you have a table at home, or a table at a pool hall or wherever you're going to take the lesson at. Okay, I'm going to be explaining, different things, as far as your camera options and things like that in the course of this. I am excited about this because I'm going to be able to offer you world-class instruction without you coming to Goodyear, Arizona via Zoom. We're going to have some limitations because of the format that we're dealing with. However, I believe that I can progress your game and take you to another level, even though you may live hundreds or 1,000 miles away from me. So anyway, I hope this video helps you kind of get things lined up before we start our lesson.
In getting prepared for our Zoom lesson, there's some things that I would like for you to consider. You can do a Zoom lesson with just a regular laptop computer. You can just turn the laptop camera to the different things that you're doing or trying to show me. And even though this does work, it does have its limitations. What's ideal is if you can get a webcam and you can have a cord that connects to your computer. That's probably the best setup of all because it's going to give you a lot of freedom with being able to move things around and things like that. Um, the last option, which is the most simple, is you can do your Zoom lesson with just a regular cell phone. Uh, you can just log on to the Zoom with your cell phone and use your cell phone to show me kind of what you're doing. Does have a lot more limitations, but it is possible. So, I'm going to go over a few of these options coming up. And if you have any questions, you can always contact me, and I'll be glad to help you over the phone. The first option we're going to cover is just buying a tripod. These tripods usually run about $20 to $30, and just getting one that will hold your cell phone and just use your cell phone for your Zoom lesson. This is probably the simplest and least expensive way to kind of get prepared for your Zoom lesson. The next option is going to uh, get yourself a webcam and get yourself an adapter so the webcam can be mounted onto your tripod. And I believe this is the ideal setup because it's going to give you a lot of freedom and flexibility. You can leave your either your computer or your laptop wherever it sits, and you can run around. Because you can get anywhere from 10 to 16-foot hose cables, and so I believe that this will give you a lot of freedom and flexibility. And I really believe that this is the way to go. The next thing you need to do is you can go to a hardware store or anybody that has levelers, and so these are little things that you can use to you put a laser on the wall and it will show you what is level. If you go to a hardware store, this is a Black& Decker. There's different brands. What I like about the Black& Decker is the bottom, which is a round piece, is held on by just magnets, and you just take it off, and it sits flat on the table, and it's one of the easiest ones to use. So, you know, I recommend the Black& Decker, but there's other brands, and I'm sure you can probably get other brands that will work. But I do know the Black& Decker always has worked good for me, and I've used that for probably at least the last 10 years. Next, if you go to, like an office store, these are reinforcements for like notebook paper. I recommend the ones that have the self-adhesive. They kind of have a little bit of a plastic top instead of a paper. I think they stay on the table better, especially if you have a little chalk in your felt. So, I recommend the ones that kind of come in the little square boxes as opposed to the ones that come on the sheets because the ones on the sheets just don't seem to stick as good. So you can get those at any Office Depot or any office supply place. Maybe even Walmart carries them also, but there's different brands. You're going to first start by putting your laser in a straight line, about a half a diamond away from one corner pocket and about a diamond and a half on the other end of the table. And what you want to do is have a perfectly straight line with the laser. Then what you're going to do is you're going to put put these dots on the tip of your finger, and then you're going to hold them over where the laser is absolutely dead center on that hole in the center. And then right when you get them exactly where you want them, you're just going to push them straight down. You want to put one of these roughly even with each diamond going down the table. And the reason is later on in other lessons, the diamond placement will be important for some of our drills. So right now, when you're setting it up, just try to have two diamonds out, and then just try to have one on each diamond, and then one on the other end of the table on the rail, and that's going to be your aim point. So that's going to be your target. So you want to have one on the rail at the end of the table. The last setup is going to be what we're going to be doing our stroke drill on, or testing for the stroke. How this works is, let's say you're on a 3.5 by 7, then you're going to put the cue ball about maybe 3 or 4 inches past dead center of the table. Let's say that you're on a 9-footer or a 4.5 by 9. Then you're just going to put your cue ball absolutely dead center, and then you're also going to put the other dot in front of the pocket of the object ball you're going to be shooting. And just you want to just have those two dots directly in a straight line opposite the side pocket that you're shooting over the top of. So anyway, this is the basic setup, and I think that if we just get these things done ahead of time before we start our first Zoom lesson, or have these set up every time when you're getting ready to do your Zoom lesson, and then that way we're not spending time on doing this when we can get it done ahead of time. I want to thank you for watching this video. If there's any questions that you have about setting up or getting prepared for a internet lesson via Zoom with me, be sure and pop me an email, and I will be glad to answer you. And I look forward to a lot of you people out there being my students, and I think that I'm going to be able to progress your game via the Zoom or via the internet, and that way I can literally teach students from all over the world. So anyway, I look forward to you being my students, and you have a nice day.